Hello everybody, welcome to Suburbs of Seattle, or welcome back to Suburbs of Seattle for all of my subscribers out there. I'm your host Andrey Gulyy, and I am a licensed real estate agent here in the state of Washington, the beautiful, the only Pacific Northwest. Yes, I mean, I'm just standing here at one of my listings and it's just an absolutely gorgeous view from this home. I'll include some pictures here of this home. If you're interested in a home like this, reach out to me at the number below. Or if you're interested in any other home here in Washington State, reach out to me at the number below or fill out my form down in the description and I'd be happy to reach out to you. And without further ado, guys, we are talking today about the good, the bad, the ugly of new construction homes here in the state of Washington. And I want to start off with the good, right? Let's start off on a good note and talk about the good news of new construction homes. So, the good news is the fact that with the increase in inventory in traditional homes, we've seen significant differences in the new construction field, because new construction homes have always kind of competed with traditional resale homes. The less resale homes out there, the more new construction goes up. Buying a new construction home is something that you can pre-plan for ahead of time, right? Sometimes you can get into a contract when it's just bare land, and we'll talk about that as well. But what I'm trying to say, guys, is that inventory has gone up all across the board with regular resale homes, and because of that, negotiating a new construction home is significantly easier. I mean, at least probably once or twice a week, I get a random email from somebody who represents a new construction builder offering a $30,000 or $40,000 credit to a buyer of mine if we bring them an offer. That's one of the drastic changes that we have seen happen with new construction builders, and that's good news for you as a buyer. As a buyer, negotiation is far easier now than it ever was in the past before. I've even heard of some new construction builders doing lottery systems where literally, because of the high demand for new construction homes earlier this year, right? We had no inventory and new construction home prices were at an all-time high, and some builders would put in buyers that come in to the open house or in a line, right? I mean, there'd literally be lines of buyers sometimes, where they would put them in a lottery system and draw out a name, and based off of that lottery system, that's how they picked who got to go with that parcel. Like, that's how crazy it was up until about March of this year. And then when interest rates just skyrocketed, now we are where we are today with increased inventory because of the interest rates, lower prices, more incentives from new construction builders. So if you ever wanted to buy a new construction home, now may be a good time to consider doing that. I'm not saying it's the right thing for you. Let's have a conversation. Like I said, fill out the form below and I'll reach out to you and we can create a game plan for you. But if it turns out to be the right move for you, now is as good a time as any to really negotiate the prices. Another thing that you should know about buying a new construction home, and I guess we can start talking about the bad and the ugly now, right? Typically, new construction builders, when you write a contract, their contracts are different than the regular Northwest MLS forms used here in Washington State. So if you have been working with an agent that only deals in resales, you might consider hiring somebody else for a new construction home. New construction contracts are different depending, kind of on a case-by-case basis, depending on the builder that you are using. New construction home contracts, I've seen crazy things in new construction home contracts, going from, hey, you're putting down $100 grand earnest money, which is your first deposit of your down payment, right? You put down this deposit now and you waive it. That means if at any point you want to back out, that money is gone. Or if later, when the house is built 10 months down the line, if the market changes and the value is not there anymore, you have to bring the remainder of the cost to the closing table. And at that point, you're overpaying hundreds of thousands of dollars for a new construction home. And we're seeing that, guys. We're seeing hints of that now. Like, I was just talking to my broker a few days ago, and he was telling me how one of the guys in our office actually bought a new construction home. He put down $75,000 as a non-refundable deposit per the builder's contract. And then he walked away from that because he's seeing how the market is turning, and he's thinking that builder is going to be done building in a year from now. By then the market will turn to the point where I could come back, and regardless of that 75 grand, I could probably buy the house even lower. And that's his mindset on what he's been going through. And that's what other home buyers are going through as well. If you are looking to buy a new construction home, we need to sit down and really go through the numbers and the pros and the cons of it. We need to understand what your commitment is to this property. And we can negotiate that release of earnest money. We can write in and say, hey, we're not releasing earnest money to you, builder, right? And they may or may not go for that depending on the builder, depending on the property. But it's really important to really sit down. I want to sit down with you guys and really understand what you're committing to when you are buying a new construction home. Another downside and what you need to understand when you're buying a new construction home is many times they don't come with elementary things like blinds, or maybe the landscaping in the front is done but not the back, or no fencing, right? These are the things that you need to understand, that sometimes builders don't put these things in, and you really, besides your down payment and closing costs, you really need to understand what else is not included. Many times builders don't include refrigerators, whereas resale homes have refrigerators typically. Sometimes people who resell a home, they choose to take the washer and dryer with them. Sometimes they choose to leave them. In a new construction build, typically you don't have refrigerators, you don't have washer or dryers either. So that's an additional expense that has to come out of your pocket, in addition to down payment, closing costs, blinds, landscaping in the back, fencing for your dog or kids, or just if you want some privacy, right? I mean, these are all things that are important to understand. So guys, if you're looking to buy a new construction home, it's a great idea as long as it's the right idea for you, and as long as the contract benefits you, right? So let's sit down, hit me up at the number below, or fill out the form down below in the description, and I'd be honored to help you out in your dream home search. And whether that's a new construction build, or a resale, or some other, or maybe it's land. I have a buddy that purchased land a few days ago, right? If that's your thing, I can help you out with that as well. So reach out to me, and I'd be honored to help you out, and I'll see you in the next video.